Wow. What's going on, everybody? My name is Ed Rivera of the Data Chronicles, and welcome to the Data Chronicles Sports Show. With me right now, my co-host for tonight is not only that my good friend, my partner in crime, Mr. Patrick Larson of MILB Hat History. How are you, my friend? How are we doing?
My friend, I'm doing well. Can't believe we're now without some baseball, but I know we'll get into that. But
Yeah.
it's but doing well overall. How are you doing?
You know what, dude? I'm doing good, right?
Yep.
Like you said, the first thing that I really wanted to talk about with is just, like, okay, baseball is over for the year for 2023. It's done. It's over. No more. What are we gonna do now, right?
I mean, I guess the answer is kind of what we do on this show. We'll go, we go from baseball, but then there's still football, there's basketball, there's
And right. It's officially hot stove season now,
it
right? I
is.
mean, it
It
is.
is.
It's the beginning of the off season.
Yep.
I'm sure there's going to be lots of rumors going around.
Yep.
A new hire, some firings. You know how this goes, right?
The Otani sweepstakes.
Otani, where is he going to go? I have my thoughts on that, but
So do I.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think there's going to be a lot to be talking about this season. But let's get started, and then obviously, you and me have already had our discussion in our three-part series on the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast. Make sure you guys catch it; it's really good this week. But we were talking about our thoughts and how our teams, how we felt our teams did this season. But overall, right? Let's talk about overall
Mhm.
and see. All right, Tom. Otani will look good in pinstripes. Listen, someone is gonna pay that man a lot of money. That's all we know, right?
Yeah, Tom, I think you need to say that Juan Soto looks good in pinstripes. I think that's more likely.
You think so? You think Juan Soto will go there?
Well, I do think it's more likely than Otani,
Mm.
because I don't know. I just think Otani is L.A. Dodgers bound. I just
You
don't
think
see
so? I don't know if he's LA
or
Dodgers.
Seattle. Like I can see like L.A. or Seattle.
That's who I
Um,
have. I have
and I say the
Seattle.
Dodgers because like if he's already settled in the L.A. area, but he can still get paid a boatload of money and win, I think that he could stay there. But but
I got Tom. You're good. I like it, my
oh,
friend. I like it.
that's a good one, Tom. That's a good one.
Um,
I don't know that Craig Breslow is going to be able to convince Otani to go to Boston. Um,
I'm not
but
gonna lie though. I do. If he, very great point. I was just gonna say that
yeah,
if he does leave the West Coast,
yeah,
I don't think he's going to the Yankees. You know what I mean? His
yeah,
character will not allow for the Yankees, right? I think he would be more of a Boston type of personality. But the teams that I see is Seattle right now at the top. Then you got the
yep,
Dodgers. We still can't count on the Angels. He may go back to the Angels. I
yeah.
don't know why he would do that, but
My,
if they're
I think Mike Trout asks himself all the time why he did. So, um, because it's a shame to have all of that type of talent.
his bank account is not saying that.
Oh no, it's not. No, no. And I think Otani. I think another reason I don't think he would go to the Yankees is because I never thought I'd say this about Steinbrenner, but like I don't think Hal Steinbrenner would open up his checkbook to pay Otani what what he's worth.
Yeah, I
I mean,
yeah,
and
I
Tom,
don't know.
that's not a not. I'm not trying to knock the Yankees. I'm just kind of saying based on what Hal Steinbrenner has shown so far in his ownership, I just don't see
I
him
think the
doing that.
days of the Yankees outspending other teams, I think
Yeah,
those days are long gone. I don't think those are the kind of days that the Yankees are, right? I think
yeah,
that they'll do some trades, and I think they eventually want to start building their minor league system, just like a lot of teams. Like look at the success of the Tampa Bay Rays, right?
great example.
And to an extent, Cleveland, right? Like these small
Yeah,
market teams
yeah,
have been able to be successful with developing their minor league system. Um, and spending that amount of money. Like, Aaron Judge took a lot of money from them.
And I think that was a big part of the Yankees budget was,
Giancarlo
they kind of, I mean, I think they were kind of in a position where they couldn't not sign Aaron Judge. I mean, Aaron Judge was
they had to.
about this close to signing with San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, he
And
was about to put that pen to paper,
he was.
and then the Yankees came in the last minute.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Aaron Judge is a great player, but I mean, it took at his age. I mean, he got a big deal for a guy at his age, and it's not out of the realm of normalcy.
Right. I think they're scared of making big contracts. Look what happened when Giancarlo Stanton, right? He's been nothing but hurt.
Well, Carlos Rodon. I mean, Rodon is not as big of a deal as, like you said, Giancarlo Stanton or an Aaron Judge. But I mean, even Aaron Judge being hurt a lot of this season. I mean, it's
correct.
I mean,
that really did hurt. Those injuries hurt that team.
Well, I mean, it hurt their offense. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton, all he did, if he didn't hit a home run, he was striking out or getting out.
Yeah.
And so, and Giancarlo Stanton used to be a guy that could at least, do a little bit more than just hit home runs. I mean, that's what he's always been known for. But he had a more all-around game.
Cannot move his core when he hits the bat. For the life of me, I just want someone to sit him down and show him videos of proper mechanics, because the man is just all he does is just swing with his arms. That's all he does.
Yep.
And eventually that's going to give out. So like once that goes out, right? What do you have left?
Well, not a major league career.
True story. And all he has right now is really DH.
Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, he's turned into a right-handed like Adam Dunn or Chris Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all or nothing. I mean, and to a degree, I know our friend Mr. Caputo probably wouldn't like me saying this, but Kyle Schwarber is a lot like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll hit nothing for days, but then he'll hit 6 home runs in a row. And when a guy hits like 40, 50 home runs, you're not taking him out of the lineup.
Yeah, 100%, my friend. You are 100% that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we did a lot of talk about the Yankees, and you are Blue Jays, and I'm a Guardians, and that's a lot of talk for us.
Yeah,
nothing but respect, though. Like, I mean, hopefully, I wish they would have done something with the front office or the manager, right? I think they had the great opportunity to move on, and they really didn't take advantage of that, which is kind of interesting. If I don't say so myself, like, they should have done something, but they didn't. So we'll see what happens.
If you were going to, this was the right time.
You had the perfect opportunity. You delivered on a season that the Yankees were supposed to be going into the playoffs and go deep into the playoffs, and they didn't deliver. And then you see that you didn't do anything.
I mean, you finished behind no disrespect meant by this, but I mean, you've like everyone finished behind the Orioles that no one expected anything from. The Rays, we've started to expect that they're going to be up there, so that's not as much of a surprise.
Right, but you had the Orioles, the Rays, the Blue Jays.
Yep.
Boston. I mean, Yankees and Boston.
Yeah, which as a Blue Jays fan, you never ever expected that to ever be the case where it's flipped, that the Red Sox and Yankees are at the bottom of the conversation rather than at the top. I mean, you just never, as a Blue Jays fan, growing up, I never reasonably expected that. It was just all Boston or all New York Yankees all the time. And if they're not winning the title, they're in the conversation.
100%. 100%.
And as a Guardians fan,
too well.
Yeah, I mean,
too well, my friend, too well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about thoughts on the World Series, right? I want to get your thoughts on overall the World Series, right? From what I understand, since 2016, it was the lowest watched series, since then, and
8.5 million or something like that. It was something along those lines.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say this, and then I'll give you the floor. I'm glad that it happened, and here's why. Why I'm glad that it happened is because then what ends up happening is that the commissioner looks with egg in his face, because there's like, baseball is a regional sport. You should have never said that. First of all, baseball is a national sport, and you should have treated it as such. And what you did, instead of, relying on just the big teams that are always going to be there, they weren't, right? So when that happened, that was taken away. What do you have left? It's some really good baseball, which the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, they play really good baseball throughout playoffs.
That they did. I think you hit the nail on the head there. I don't think the viewing numbers translate to how good the baseball was. Like if you look at game one, I mean that was
Oh my God.
baseball. That's baseball at its best. Were the other four games like game one? No,
No.
but there was good baseball played. I mean,
Even
if you
last
like,
night's game was really good all until, like, the
well, Eovaldi
Diamondbacks had
getting
a
out of all
no
his
hitter
jams.
going.
Yeah, and Eovaldi, like, yeah, Gallen was just pitching out of his mind, and then I mean he had
Evaldi
his
was
ace.
Houdini.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Eovaldi, like, I was like, where are you pulling that rabbit out of your hat to try to get out of all these jams? I mean, I think if I remember correctly, he didn't have a 1, 2, 3 inning until the sixth. Everything before that was everything before that he was in jams and he was just finding ways to get out of it.
Johnny,
So
you're 100% right. Two
yeah,
very good teams, but neither of them has a national following. Why though? Like, I mean, that's my question. Why? Why? Because they should, Major League Baseball should do their darnest to push not just the Yankees or Boston or the Dodgers or the Houston Astros, right? They should be able to be pushing all of the teams, mid market to
yep,
big market. Why? Because it makes the game even more popular at that point, not just in certain areas, not just because
yeah,
certain teams are there.
yeah. I completely agree. I don't, and I think Manfred's gonna point to the fact that they push these teams, and then they'll say, "Well, look at the viewing numbers. We push them because of the viewing numbers," and he's gonna say that when we don't have these big market teams in there, that we're getting the lowest World Series ratings, in history, and that's going to be his justification, which doesn't make him right. I mean, but that's what he's going to use as his ammunition to,
Yeah,
to defend the way he conducts business,
yeah, I agree.
um, which is not right because as a baseball fan, just a lover of baseball, I'm not worried about like the viewing numbers, for a given World Series. I like to see a fresh matchup. I don't want to see the same
Yeah,
teams every single year. I mean, are we going to see that? Of course. I mean, there's going to be teams that are always in that conversation. I mean, the Astros have been in what, 7 straight league championship series in the American League. I mean, so yeah, when a team's good, they're good. But if I get a chance to see, new matchups and fresh matchups,
hmm,
that's what I'm here to see, especially if it can't be my team that's making it. I want to see good baseball, and I want to see teams that are kind of, that had the passion for being there. It's kind of a new experience for them. I don't want someone just going through the motions like, oh, I've been through it before. So
exactly, Patrick. The fresh mashup is what had me paying attention more than I had in recent years.
yeah,
100%, man.
yeah.
It,
I want to see teams that haven't won the championship. I want to see teams that, or if they have, they've won it once. And so,
yeah.
yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
just the storyline, right? The fact
yeah,
that, like, you had a team who's never in their history of that team had ever won a championship, goes on and wins it, and really good, because at the end, like, I mean, it
yeah,
was a very evenly matched game. But
it
guess
was.
what? That last game last night,
Yeah,
I was watching it. My
yep,
wife was watching it. We were watching it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this dude has a no hitter
yep,
going into the sixth inning." And then look at that. And then it took those last 3 innings for them to really pick up.
yeah. I mean, it was big players stepping up in big moments. I mean, that's what. Um, oh, look who's back.
Oh, and I'm not. Hi, Mike. But no, you're right. All right. So give me your thoughts, really, overall, right? So were you happy? Were you disappointed? What were your thoughts overall over, let's just say, not just the World Series, but the playoffs overall? I mean, granted, your team didn't make it far. However,
Right.
they were there.
Yeah, and I'm going to take my own personal fandom out of it and just look at it from an objective perspective.
Yeah.
Um, I, I was a little disappointed with the wild card rounds and the divisional rounds, only because we were getting sweeps,
Sweeps.
and
I got you. Okay. Okay.
and, so it has nothing to do with the Blue Jays being swept. That was deserved based on the way they played. But I want to see some competition. I want to see things go into going to a game 6 or a game 7 where everything's on the line and your season's on the line and everyone's just throwing everything that they've got at it. And we got that in the ALCS and the NLCS.
Yeah.
And we got 2 outstanding series. And yes, I wish the World Series would have maybe gone to at least 6 games. I would have liked to.
I'll be honest. I wanted them to go 7, a full 7. I was praying for a full 7.
And so was I. I mean, because, and even I think in the last show, Ed, I think we both predicted that it was gonna go back to Texas.
Yeah, and the way they were playing last night, I thought they were. But I'm gonna pause this right now because I also want to get our third co-host of this show, and I want to make sure that we get his opinion overall on the baseball playoffs this year, because man, they were good. So without further ado, my friends, I'm going to give you guys Mr. Donnie Wise.
Hey,
what's happening, my friend? Oh, look at that beautiful hat!
Look at that. The celebrity has made his entrance.
I don't know about that.
My old Cleveland Indians logo right there, the block C.
Oh, I like that. Looking good.
Although I'm a fan of the new C though. I'm a fan of the new C. But anyways, I love the C. That C. I love the hat. I love the blue with the red brim and the red block C. I'm a fan. It's classic.
I have a 5950 of that one, Donnie. So I'm right there with you, my man.
This was a Ross find earlier this year.
Good job.
So I got this.
You even got a deal on it.
So you definitely got it for it. Yeah, I love it,
man. So, I want to be Donnie Wise when I grow up.
Right, dude. I've been going to all the Rosses around here, and I got nothing. Nothing.
Neither do I, Ed. Like whenever they put out that there were all these deals, and they're like, everyone has minor league hats. I said, then why don't mine?
Oh, you know what? Actually, speaking of minor league deals, I really wanted to point this out there because I've been watching it today. If you go on the 47 brand website, okay, guys, and you look at the dad hats and all of the hats I have there, a lot of them are going for $15 right now.
Okay.
I wanted to put it out there. There's a lot of hats out there. I thought about getting me 1 or 2, but I haven't pulled the trigger. But I'm just letting you know, a lot of those hats, $15. $16, $22 for the snapbacks and things like that. So go out there and take a look at 47 brand.
I like 47 brand shirts.
Yeah, so I love their hoodies. Their hoodies are so comfy.
Yeah.
So to your point, Patrick, though, most of the Ross hats this season were major league hats. They rarely had any minor leagues this year. Last year was all minor league, so I'm hoping there'll be another dump of minor leagues coming up.
I might be seeing a dump of minor league hats around here because the Greensboro getting their new logo, right?
Yeah,
and you as well. You're not too far either.
Yeah.
Hey, Donnie. First of all, thank you for coming and joining us, my friend. We always look forward to a Thursday nights because this is where we really get our picks and everything. We talk about But I want to get your thoughts, my friend. I want to get your thoughts on the playoffs, right? We were talking about how this was the least watched baseball World Series in quite a long time, and I think you said the numbers a little bit over 8 million on average. So, what were your thoughts overall on the wild card and everything that happened this year?
I mean, I thought it was a great playoffs. I think it was. Again, it's always going to be hurt when the big teams aren't in there. The national brands.
Mm-hmm. Your Yankees.
Well, So
I just want you to know we devoted about 10 minutes to talking Yankees, just so you know, right before you got on. I just want you to know.
We did.
I missed it. I'll have to catch the replay.
Yeah, you will.
Okay. I mean, I think the playoffs were great, but unlike the casual fan, I love I always love the new teams anyway. Mm-hmm. So I don't like to always see the big guys being in there. I love that it was Arizona and Texas. Like you talked about last time, like Minnesota and some of those others. I wish the Brewers were in there. Looking at the teams that have never won a World Series, I saw Lynn posted a picture of that with the X through Texas now. Oh my gosh! So we ought to start a pool bet on which of the remaining teams of who's next, looking at their rosters for the next few years. But I mean, could you imagine like the Brewers, the Mariners, those guys getting?
I'm rooting for the Mariners. They become like my my second team right there. I don't know what it is about them. They're a scrappy team, right? I remember them like those bitter battles between the Indians and the Seattle Mariners of the '90s. My God, those were some good series.
And those were some good teams too. I mean, you think about some of the players on those teams, and I'm just
they never won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for baseball. I know the ratings are down, but I mean, if you look at that, the only spike they had was during COVID, and that's because nobody could go do anything anyway.
Right.
Over the last 6 years or so.
You got to take COVID out of the equation.
But yeah, there's been a decline. I don't know necessarily what that is, but it's just baseball is more regionalized. They don't market nationally well, so that's the big problem.
Just said that.
We did.
Oh, I didn't mean to repeat everything.
No, I'm just happy that you say that, because this is what we've been talking about.
Right.
Is that Major League
Baseball made
the decision, right, absolutely brilliant, that made the decision to regionalize the sport when they shouldn't have. Instead they should have just nationalized it and gone, push all of the teams instead of by regions.
If you went man on the street in any town, any big city, I'll say, not going to get it in small town. You go to any big city and you say, name me a Major League Baseball player, I guarantee you're going to get the highest amount of answers are going to be Shohei, Aaron Judge, maybe
Trout.
Maybe Trout. I don't know. I don't know if the casual fan even knows Trout, because they know
because he's been injured
Harper,
and he hasn't been playing in the playoffs.
Harper
maybe.
I want to say Mookie Betts, but I don't know if he's a big enough name.
Acuna, now maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have 4 or 5 names, I guess, the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, 100%.
Out of all of the baseball players, nobody.
How many players?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's a marketing issue to me. But again, if you take the big 4 leagues, who does the worst job of doing what their fans want versus what they want?
Major League Baseball.
It's Major League Baseball. I mean,
yeah.
I know the NFL tries to cater. They cater more to their fans. They try to do more to the fans. They make decisions based on what's best for the NFL and the marketing and stuff. But NBA does better. They market to the kids. I mean, I know there's other sports are faster, and that's the whole reason they've tried to make these changes to the game. But it's just a marketing thing, and it's baseball, just like they did with the minor leagues. Baseball makes decisions to do things the way they want to do them, and who cares what the fans want? They don't seem to take that into consideration at all.
You know what really bugs me is the fact that, and I'm a fan, by the way, just want to put this out there before I even say it, the fact that the NHL is one of the fastest growing sports, and they are doing an amazing job, not just with some teams, but all of the teams, and they're pushing them. And look at the popularity here in North Carolina. They're building a massive 8-rink Olympic-sized rink indoor arena, right? For growing the sport, developing these young players, from junior hockey all the way up. So they're doing what they need to do, and I don't know if baseball's catching up.
Yeah, baseball doesn't. I don't know. I heard it the other day was baseball needs to put people in charge that love baseball. They don't have people in charge that are baseball people. They have people in charge that are lawyers and business people. And all they care about is doing what they think is best, which isn't always what's best, in my opinion. I mean, they're just not marketing it right. They're not, just the things they've subtracted from the minor league system were not improvements to anything other than their bottom line. And it's like, if that's all you're worried about, why are you in this?
Oh, I'm with you, my friend. I'm 100% with you.
Baseball needs to put into power like a self-made entrepreneur who has a hit off to work hat series and and travels and just makes everyone's day better with his positivity. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking Donnie Wise.
There you go. I love it.
Hey, I can do that.
Hey, I bet you do. So listen,
I'm putting it out there. I'm just trying to manifest it. So, we're going to go.
Well, this is all I've got. You guys have your podcast and all your cool stuff. And I've got this. This is great, but I need more.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like
You're
I
also
have
a
times
VI, you're also a VIB. You're also a VIB and like VIP of pretty much every club you're associated with. Like a VIF, a very important Firefly. You know, all those things. All those
Let me tell you,
credentials.
his seats are
Oh,
primo. Those seats
okay.
are primo.
So
You are not kidding. I got to experience firsthand the first class treatment that you get when you're with Donnie Wise.
you sat in the same seat that Ed sat in, and Jim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And I wasn't worthy to sit in that seat for either of those
Oh
men.
yes, you guys were.
And I wasn't
Yes, you
worthy of
were.
even sitting in that seat with either of those
Oh
men.
my God, you killed me, brother.
Um, can I share something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the guy, it's a little story from today that was kind of funny to me. So the guy that I was sort of training with and training some on this job up here, and just kind of seeing if he could handle what we do up here. Guy talking to him. Patrick will like this. He played a little bit of minor league ball. He was with the got an invite to spring training a few years back with the Toronto Blue Jays. Went to Dunedin, played some in Dunedin, and then realized he's a 23-year-old guy with all these 18-year-olds, and minor league baseball was not for him. But the thing that got me after we
He
talked
got to live the
baseball,
dream, though.
he did a little bit. And so his
You gotta
route
live
to
my dream.
college, though, so he had that dream, and he got that because his route to college was he played high school ball and wasn't recruited, started playing in a local, he's from Michigan, the Lansing area, and started playing in a local adult league, and a college coach saw him playing in the adult league and invited him to try out. Liked him so much, said go enroll. He started classes on Monday so he could join the college team, and then ended up getting an invite to spring training after all of that, through his college, and then he just figured baseball wasn't for him. So then, then we got talking about something else, and he said something about the bananas. I was like, okay, just this random guy from Michigan, and talks about the Savannah Bananas. He's like, man, my kids would love to go see it, but I couldn't get tickets and blah blah blah. And I said, well, I might know a guy. I'll see what I can do when tickets are available again to be bought. And then he said, but he said the one thing Major League Baseball should implement is they should allow you to steal first base like the Bananas do. Could you imagine how fun that would be to steal on a pitch in the dirt or something? I was like, how cool is that? Like just like this random idea.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Just this random guy I meet, and we got talking baseball, and he talks bananas, and we circled all around everything that I'm
I
involved
love
in.
it. I think that's amazing.
I was conducting an interview for an open position at work today, and that person came in and talked about baseball. Has no idea that I'm obsessed with baseball. And then my coworker that's in there conducting the interview with me says, "Oh, you just said baseball," and Patrick's face lit up. So, I had to make sure that it took every bit of me to not go into just turning the whole interview into talking about baseball. Because I just wanted to sit there and talk playoffs, but I'm like, oh, I'm interviewing someone for an actual position. I've got to be careful.
You're
Well,
right.
this guy only had 3 minor league hats. I forget what one of them was. Fresno Grizzlies is one of his favorites, but it's the one with the taco on it. He loves
Oh,
that hat.
I mean, that's a great one. That is a great one. Yeah,
He
yeah.
has that one, and then he got the Akron Rubber Ducks, but it's the rubber
Great
ducky
one.
blue hat with the yellow rubber duck.
Yes, the rubber ducky hat.
Spoiler alert, I'm wearing local teams. I wore Columbus yesterday. I got this one today. I brought my rubber ducky for Akron for tomorrow, driving home.
I love it.
I love how
That's
prepared you are,
amazing.
Donnie. I mean, you always are.
That
Spoiler
rubber
alert on
ducky
the-
one
on the
is such a
hat of the
clutch
day.
hat,
Oh.
though. Oh,
Donnie always dresses for the occasion.
he
That's what
does.
love.
I mean,
That's
as
what I
he
love about
should.
Donnie.
As he should. Drinking
Yeah.
a beer. Look at him. What a legend.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what?
in my Bucky's glass that I picked up on the way up here the other day.
Oh,
Stopped at Bucky's.
oh, good
I gotta have a
man.
pint glass.
Well, now you need to get a Sheets glass, right? Because Cleveland is Ohio
Cleveland is Sheets
Oh,
country.
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen
So-
several of those. There's some in North Carolina, but you got to get in the upper part of North Carolina.
Yeah.
I have one
Greensboro.
right down the street from me.
Yeah, they're all over Raleigh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I finally went to a Sheets. I was I
You
heard,
got-
I heard
I'm
all
tell-
the fuss that I was
listen.
going through.
I'll
It's
tell
not
you this.
sheetsy either.
No, man, I'm telling
it's
you,
not.
Sheets is so good. Their food is legit,
Their
man.
food is legit. Their food is legit.
Oh, so
I still haven't been to a
good.
Buc-ee's, and we have them in Georgia now. I still haven't been to one.
Oh, you got to go.
You gotta go.
It's
gotta
an
go.
It's for
experience.
the experience. Yeah, I just want to do it for the experience at this point.
Yep.
But I want to save my first one for going to like just a humongous one. I want it to be just like so ostentatious and wait. Shouldn't Mike like Quick Trip since he liked everything Georgia anyway?
Yeah.
Oh,
Burn.
Isn't that an Ohio thing?
Hey,
I mean, it's Virginia, Ohio, but like, there's a disconnect here. I don't know. Mr. Sellers, I mean, you're a Quick Trip man, are you not?
man, you're getting burned, Mike. Hot dog.
They don't have sheets in Athens. I was just in Athens today, so I can tell you they don't have sheets in Athens. I had to be there for a meeting this morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're getting down off the
sorry. I just saw that and I'm like, oh, that's too good of an opportunity.
No, that was good. That was good. All right. So guys, in your opinion, based on everything that we've said so far and that we talked about baseball, so that way we can move on because we got other things to talk about because nothing else happened in the world of sports. Patrick is spicier than Dabo and radio show. Wow, that's good. I mean, Dabo did go kind of, Georgia definitely has better football than Ohio. Calm down, Michael. Calm down.
Yeah, well, Ed, we discussed this before the show started. That I mean, like I'm just a jerk. I mean,
you're absolutely a jerk.
Yeah. So
with a massive ego.
Massive ego.
All right. So, in your opinion, and I want to hear from you guys over that are watching as well. Put it on the comments here. I want to get to know overall though. Do you think that this season was a success or was it a failure? Why? And just I want to know why.
Never fails.
Yeah, exactly.
You talking about
Never fails with
the entire major league system or season? Was it a failure or a success as a whole for the league?
Yeah,
as a whole for the league. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good question. I want to say it's a success. It's hard to with the numbers we just talked about and things like that.
Yeah.
But I always say it's successful when you prove that even a team that doesn't win 100-something games can win a World Series.
They
really get into one.
Yeah.
Well, and I would also say it's a success for the fact that Major League Baseball actually did do something that they don't do very often. They tried to implement some things that fans wanted to see. Like, I mean, and maybe it wasn't the right mechanism, but I would say the fact that you ban the shift, you put the pitch clock on, because one complaint that a lot of people had, and this is not baseball purists, but the casual fan is what I'm talking about. They hated how long the games were, and so you shorten game times. And I think I know that I was resistant to some of the changes, and I know we talked about this in a previous episode, and I won't rehash it. But I do think that some of those rules that they made were in response to some fans to try to get people to the stadium. Is it perfect? Yeah. No. Does it need to be refined? Absolutely. But I think the fact that they actually tried to do things that responded to what casual fans wanted, I think was good, because those are the kind of people that you need to sway, because people like us are going to come back no matter what happens. And I mean, we're not the ones they're trying to attract. It's the casual fan that you're trying to get. So for that reason, I think
to your point, Patrick, the Ghost Runner.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I mean, that's a good thing. They did listen to the fans from that standpoint. Contrary to my earlier statement about them not listening to people.
Yeah, but your point is still
listening to the casual.
Yeah,
fans.
your point's still valid. Yeah.
But
like I was saying, it's like it was rare that happens. So I think you were right. It was just a rare instance that they actually tried to listen. But that's an exception rather than than really that they listened to the fans. That was the exception to what your point was.
Yeah,
exactly. And hopefully, like you said, they implemented some things to make sure they heard those fans. They tried to speed the game up, and hopefully by the fact that they did that they will then listen further to adjust that, to tweak it. If they're willing to do it, they've got to be willing to massage it and tweak it a little bit. Maybe like we've talked about multiple times, move the ghost runner back to first. The guy I talked to today, he hates the ghost runner. He's like, why doesn't everybody just intentionally walk the first batter that's up and set up a double play? That would just be the first thing you would do as a defense, is just go ahead and do that. I agree. I'm like, that makes sense. But if you just put it on first, that is one thing. And I meant to ask you guys this before about the bases, because we've talked about a lot of these changes. The shift, I like the fact that they banned the shift a little bit. Guys still need to learn how to hit the opposite field, but do you think the size change of the bases itself physically led to more stolen bases, or was it the psychological effect that the bases were bigger, that they attempted more steals?
Good question.
Because how many steals were actually achieved more than before just because of those extra couple of inches on either side? It really is so minute.
So I'll say this, because and that's something that I've been thinking about for quite a while, right? And I think that, from the beginning of the season, I thought that was going to happen. I thought that I think it's a combination of a couple of things, right? You ban the shift, right? So now you don't have you have more room for for the players to really pay attention to where the ball is going. Plus, with the increase of the base, and the pickoff rule, right?
I don't like the pickoff rule. I have forgotten about the pickoff rule until I was talking this afternoon with this guy. But yeah,
exactly. So it's a combination of a lot of the things that led to the increase in steals. I'm a fan. Don't get me wrong. I love small ball, right? Bunting, the player over the stealing. It made the game a lot more exciting this year than previous years, with the shift being banned now and all of that. The ghost runner, I would tweak it, maybe add a couple of seconds to the pitch clock, and then go from there.
I agree. I like Lichtenberg's comment there that that it was successful. There were a lot. Majority of the rules were pretty good, and you had a lot of teams in the playoffs that have been in the playoffs.
Baltimore, Arizona, Texas, Miami. Yeah, I mean, listen,
Seattle
was still in it until the very end.
Yep. Yeah. It was refreshing. I mean, you want to see more teams in it. I mean, we all have our teams that we root for, but we're all at the root of this. We're all baseball fans.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And to see other teams that are playing, and to see so many teams playing meaningful baseball so late into the season, that's only a good thing for the competition. I mean, I hate it when a division is done by early September, late August. I mean, that's what fun is that? I mean, you've barely played any of the second half. I mean, there's still, a month and a half plus worth of baseball to play.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And now, like in the American League, it came down to the final day to determine, like Texas went from being, the number 2 seed to being the number 5. And
that made them mad.
Yeah, and it made them mad, and then they would go on to win 11 straight road games.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is, by the way, a record. So, to Tom's question here, Tom, I went to a couple of games. Actually, I've been here to the Durham Bulls, and I am a massive fan of this rule. The pitch challenge. All you have to do is boom, 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 challenge it. Yep. They put it on the screen right there. They see it in seconds. It is awesome. I absolutely love this new rule. They need to implement this in Major League like yesterday.
Tom, not only did I go to a AAA game this season, I got to go to a AAA game with Donnie Wise. So the
well-traveled Donnie Wise.
The well-traveled Donnie Wise. So lucky me, first of all. Number 2, I completely agree with Ed. I'm a humongous fan of it. It's a very efficient way to challenge a call. Like you don't sit there and you don't wonder what the call is. They put it up on the scoreboard. They keep the fan informed on what's going on, and it takes all of 3 to 4 seconds.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, and then you continue with the game. They challenge it. They're like, oh, look, it was a strike, or call upheld because it was a ball. So
it's
very
not only that. Actually, I got to see it actually last year in Charlotte when I went to the
Yeah,
Knights
with
in
the Knights,
2022.
So did I.
They were having it there, and I thought, oh wow, this would be great across all of baseball next year. It still was only Triple A this year, but to your point, Ed, you and I were in Omaha, Patrick, Gwinnett.
correct. Yep.
I went back to Charlotte again at the end of the season. All three of them, we got to see that happen during the game a couple of times at all three of those, and it's effective.
100%.
It's the
I think it's
next
effective.
step to the robot umpire that we keep calling for that Paul wants. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's also it holds the player and it holds the umpire accountable real time,
Yep.
right? Because how many times have we had this discussion of the umpires blew a call and nothing happens because it's been days, or there's already a game, there's something else going on, but it's happening right there live, and it makes them more accountable right there.
if I'm the commissioner of
Yeah.
baseball, and I saw somebody volunteered me for that earlier,
Hashtag Donnie Wise for
I am actually
commission.
going to implement that in Major League Baseball next year. Look at all the umpire issues we had. Angel Hernandez would not even be an umpire, but just the fact that it's all talked about. The umpire union has strength and all this. If Major League Baseball wants to eliminate that power, take away that leverage, this is it. Implement this. You take away. They can challenge a pitch. And eventually, the umpires are going to quit calling bad pitches because they don't want to be embarrassed. Right now, they can get away with it because they're like, whatever. Nobody's doing anything about it.
right. And at that point, I was like, all right, so if you keep making these bad plays, hey, now we have body of proof right there. It's time for you either, you need to go and do other things at that point. Umpiring is not your thing. Become an instructor or do something else because you can't be anymore a Major League Baseball umpire. It's just the way that goes.
And they all keep making. I mean, I was watching the game last night, and there was a strike that was called that was like, a ball that was
off.
called.
It was wet. Yeah.
That was right on. I mean, it was inside the black, and it was called a ball.
Yeah.
And then there was a play or a pitch outside the black after that called a strike. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you seeing?
Yeah.
And then there's just the horrible ones. I mean, at some point, the baseball's got to either stand up to the union.
I'm with it. I like it. The wise choice.
I can live in New York and go to all the Yankees games I want at that point.
Hey, man, look at that. But yeah, overall, I think that we all agree it was a great rule. It is a great way of holding players and umpires accountable. All right, gentlemen, let's move on. We're probably going to go over, so I wanted to put that out there. But I wanted to go talk about something that came up. I sent you guys the link to this on ESPN. That happened today, and it was, I think the situation with Michigan is picking up and it's getting some traction. The fact that they just had a call. But here's the thing that I don't know if you guys read it, but Harbaugh was in this call with the Big Ten commissioner and all of the coaches for the Big Ten. And they started talking that they needed to do something now regarding what is going on in Michigan and tickets being bought for 13 out of the 12 out of 14 teams and all of that's been going on. That, okay, listen, you need to do something. I think Harbaugh even got off the call. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. So what are your thoughts on what you guys think of that? Like, do you think that Big Ten should be doing something, or should we just say, all right, let's let this settle and let's do our investigation the right way?
I mean, the NCAA has no power, so that's one thing. Like Sellers, good. But the Big Ten, yes, the Big Ten needs to step in and really push the investigation. Michigan's not going to investigate themselves. If the NCAA does anything, it's not going to be this year; it'd be next year. So, and I don't know that Big Ten can even do anything about it this year unless they really have some concrete evidence. Because Michigan's just going to throw this guy under the bus as a rogue employee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Even if you have a rogue employee, if somebody's listening to the information he's given or using the information he's given, how rogue is he really? So I don't know. If there's a paper trail, That's one thing. If there's no paper trail, they can throw this guy under the bus. He'll be burned. Um, I mean, in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if Harbaugh jumps to the NFL after this season. So
All right, Patrick, what do
this
you
is his
think?
chance to get out.
I agree with Donnie. I think that the Big Ten needs to do something because I wouldn't trust the NCAA to even spell my name right, much less investigate a team properly. So I really think it's important that the Big Ten does something because it's a rule that you're not supposed to send people to the game. That's a very clear rule, in the book, and I think that I think they need to set an example, with this. And if you leave it to Michigan to do, I agree with what you guys said. They're going to throw a $50,000 per year employee under the bus, and they're gonna say he did this. He went rogue and did all this without our knowledge, or they're going to come up with some story that we trusted him and he betrayed our trust, and he's going to become the scapegoat for all this, and then they'll try to, and then they may do some volunteer. If they admit to anything, they'll admit to the minor infractions, which they'll be some, and they'll say we voluntarily reported X, Y, and Z that don't really amount to anything in terms of punishment. So, but then they try to, but it's good PR for them because it makes them look good that they're voluntarily reporting some of these things. And a lot of the big programs do it. I root for LSU. They did it, and they were only doing it because they were going to get a slap on the wrist, and they were, and they weren't going to get, they were doing that to avoid major penalties. So
listen,
and Michigan's got enough problems. I mean, they've had enough turmoil over the last few years that they don't want to add to it. So.
Yeah, I'll say this. Listen, is the rule dumb? Yes, 100%.
Dumb. It is a dumb
It's a
rule.
dumb rule. Okay,
I mean, that's what scouting is.
So. Right. The NFL does it. They send out players and all that, and they send out scouts to go look at other players and other teams and at other games. It happens. The fact that the NCAA still has this antiquated rule on the guidelines, it should tell you right there that I mean, come on. What are we doing? You know what I mean?
If you don't want people to steal your signs, have better signs or a better system of doing what you're doing. And then,
but I did see though. I did see though. That guy was at Central Michigan's on the sideline wearing Central Michigan stuff. I'm like, okay, if he did that there, could he have done that somewhere else? Because it was Michigan State. Technically, he was scouting Michigan State.
Right. So somebody at Central Michigan had to have gotten him on the sideline somehow.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Depending on the gear, did they give him the gear? Did he find the gear? Did he come up with the gear? I don't know. But if he's wearing the same thing the team's wearing, somebody within the team had to get him that as well.
Mm-hmm.
The thing for Michigan, right? The thing for Michigan in throwing him under the bus is going to be, well, okay, you throw him under the bus as rogue, and he went out and did this. At some point, you had to say, where are you getting this information? And if you didn't ask where he's getting it and you just accepted the information without knowing how it was acquired,
you're just as guilty.
You're just as guilty. But that goes back to what Patrick said earlier. That will be considered a minor violation because we didn't know he was going the wrong way to get it. We just thought he was smart.
Harbaugh's not going to accept any kind of he is going to be he did that. I don't know what I mean. You're not going to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, I find it very interesting though that he declined it though. He said that the reports where it's he was about to sign a big contract extension. All of a sudden, that was put on hold because of all of this that came out. So he says that that's not true. I think there was a contract discussion. I think he was about to sign the extension. The board of trustees was like, let's hold off and see what happens. Let's let this play out.
Well, that's what Harbaugh started with the NFL. So the last few years, obviously. So I mean, there's prime jobs that fit Harbaugh. I mean, go back to the Bears. You played for the Bears. That's out there as an option.
Vegas. And the Bears need the help. He would be fit right there.
So, and Harbaugh has used the NFL and its teams, shamelessly over the last few years. I mean, there was talk that he might take the Indianapolis Colts job, and what happens? He gets a nice pay rise at at Michigan. There was a job a couple years before that. Guess what happened? He miraculously signed a new contract for another big pay rise at Michigan. And so now he was in line to do that again this year with the Bears job. So I'm not saying that he wouldn't eventually take an NFL job, but he definitely does all the interviews. And didn't he also interview in Carolina, if I'm not mistaken?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think he did.
And that was the other job. It was Indian Carolina
because his family's up there and he's close to his family. That's the whole reason he went there to begin with. Yeah. And at some point, either somehow you've got to get out of this unscathed, which I don't know how he does. If you do and move on, that's one thing. But if you don't, you're good. He's always going to be able to jump to the NFL, even though he's been using it to fleece Michigan. At the same
very
time,
smartly too, though. I mean, let's be honest. Like, he's done a really good job at fleecing Michigan out of a lot of money.
Yeah, he has.
He is playing like a Vegas game against Michigan. So, I mean, maybe he goes to Vegas. He's winning money right now. So who knows?
Yeah, that's
Harbaugh almost got the Vikings head coach job. Very well could have been leveraged for the big play at Michigan. You know what? Listen, and I think both of you guys will probably agree with me. Depending on how this goes, watch for Harbaugh. Just all right. Let's say, all right, dude, I'm out. I'm gonna go to the NFL. It's time for me to go get a job in the NFL.
The fact that Harbaugh is mentioned every year for an NFL job
should tell you something.
For him, the demand for him to come back to the NFL is gonna always be there.
Yep.
And he doesn't have any of the college headaches whatsoever. So at some point,
the recruiting, the NIL, all of that, transfer portal.
And look at where Michigan's at right now. I mean, if they pull off the season they're running right now, and there's nobody that's going to really be able to do anything about it this season, how many coaches have left a program and then the program gets slapped with crap? So this is the season for him to
Urban Meyer everywhere he went.
Run. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the chance for him to run the table, either get in the national championship, even get to the game, even if he doesn't win it. I got Michigan in the national championship game. I'm jumping back to the NFL.
Even if you get them to the playoffs.
The playoffs, exactly. You get to the playoffs, anything can happen. So he can be like, "Hey, I took Michigan to the playoffs. I'm out."
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree.
Somebody else is going to come in and have to clean it up for 3 years.
We're going to keep an eye on this, because something is going to happen, right? Eventually, something is going to happen. I find it very interesting that all of the coaches, right? Big Ten coaches, are the ones who are pushing this, right? Because I'm like, hold on a second, you're literally telling me that these coaches are all squeaky clean?
There's very few coaches that have clean hands in any regard. They all have something there,
right? So
although Dabo's pretty clean,
but let's go ahead and 100%. I'll go with that, right?
He doesn't want to conform. He's got to stay clean. He's not doing all the dirty stuff.
Okay. He'll bail like Pete Carroll when he left USC before they got all those sanctions. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Harbaugh's going to leave Michigan, and then Michigan's going to hire Trent Dilfer to be the new head coach.
Jesus, Johnny Bowling would be happy to get rid of him at UAB.
Johnny Bowling might just become a Michigan fan, a closet Michigan fan for helping out UAB.
There you go.
He'll say go big. He'll say go big blue.
There you go. We're like go blue. Okay. So guys, let's talk NFL. Right, we're here. Last week was not a good week for any of us in picking. That was just that was a show. One more thing here. I got to see it says maybe they'll hire Tom Brady to be the next Michigan coach. I don't think Tom Brady's going to be a coach.
He doesn't want that headache. He's got too much money for that mess.
Yeah, that dude is just hanging out.
He's got more money. He's forgotten about some of the money he's made. He has so much of it.
Exactly, with a TB12 and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Let's start with I'll say this right now at the halftime. Titans are leading the Steelers 13-10. Will Levis is actually playing pretty good, 153 yards, no INT. So he's been playing pretty good so far.
He's playing with that chip on his shoulder for falling so far in the draft.
Hey, listen, whatever gets him going, But let's go ahead and start with the slate of picks that we have here, okay? We'll start with the 1 o'clock slates here. Actually, you know what? I want to start with the 9:30 game. Where is that? Is that they're playing?
Oh
It's
yeah, Kansas City and Miami
Kansas
in
City,
Germany.
Miami. Yeah, they're
Yep, in
playing in
Germany.
Frankfurt Stadium. Chiefs are 6-2. Dolphins 6-2. Kansas City is only a 1.5 point favorite in this one, boys. What do you guys
I
think?
mean,
I
they
mean,
played down and Miami's played up, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm I'm gonna go Miami in this one. I've said all season that even when the Chiefs were 6-1, I thought that was the most unimpressive 6-1 that I've seen in a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I mean, Donnie, you said it best. They played down to their competition. I mean, they lost to the Broncos.
The Broncos put a whooping on them. Not they just didn't lose.
Yeah.
They got spanked all over the place
But-
in that game.
Like a Broncos with Russell Wilson as the quarterback.
The only way I pick the Chiefs is if Taylor Swift is flying to Germany. Otherwise,
She's
I'm
not.
going Dolphins.
It's
Okay, I'm Dolphins.
yeah, I'm same here. The three of us are Dolphins.
Travis Kelce left to his own devices in Germany. They're not going to win.
Oh man, that's a lot of trouble.
I know we're talking about this week's games, but man, they better enjoy the game this week because then the game in Germany the next week is so disappointing compared to the one this week because it's the Colts and Patriots the next week. Like talk about a letdown of like, you go from the Chiefs and the Dolphins to the Patriots and the Colts.
Tom is right. Give us 70 points to Miami and then 9 to Kansas City. I mean, that is a wild, and they just got rid of some players. They got rid of some of the defensive players, and look what they've been able to do. So, I listen. A lot of people hate on Russell Wilson. He has made some stupid mistakes. As a quarterback, I'm still a fan. I believe that with the right system, he'll be able to pull it off. I'm not ready to.
Was Sierra at that game where he balled out?
Hey man,
Because,
Sarah's a beautiful woman. Okay, calm down, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say Travis Kelce is to Taylor Swift that Russell Wilson is to Sierra, right? So,
No.
so I'm wondering if Sierra had something to do with Russell Wilson playing well.
Sierra just told him, "You better get your shit together."
Yeah.
Well, they're married and have kids. That's a whole different energy right there.
Yeah, that's a whole
It
different.
is, but
she is whooping that ass. It's like, what are you doing?
Okay, outside of the somewhat physical characteristics, is Russell Wilson not the NFL's version of Alfonso Ribeiro?
Oh my God!
he is.
He wants to be the fun in the guy. All the sayings like the
let's ride.
Let's ride. I mean, he is the NFL's Alfonso Ribeiro.
Oh God, that is so good.
Yeah, I can't do it, but let's do the Russ.
Wow, that is good. I can't.
Donnie, you're good.
Move on. That's good, my
Donnie,
friend.
you're good at that, my friend.
All right, boys.
I grew up in the '80s. I mean, come on.
That's the line of the night. That's the line of the night.
That is the line of the night. All right, boys. Browns, Cardinals. Cardinals are traveling to Cleveland. Cleveland is an 8-point favorite. What do we think? What do we think? I'm not going to give anything because this is my team, so I'll wait for you guys to give me your opinion on this one.
Well, Ed, let me do this for you. I think that the toxic culture that Michael Bidwill has instilled in Arizona, it has not been fixed yet. And if you want to read about that, you should read about it on ESPN.com. And it's a big expose on that. It's bad, and I think that continues. And I think that Browns defense is gonna. I don't want to lose the monetization here. Whoop that tail, and
whoop that ass. I'll say, whoop that ass.
Okay. Well,
and Josh Dobbs is no longer there either.
Yeah.
Right. They're going with a rookie QB.
And I just think that Arizona's they've had moments, but overall they've just been downright atrocious this season. Like the game against the Cowboys being the exception. And I think that the Browns are poised to win this, and I think they'll win it by more than the spread. Honestly,
from your mouth to God's ears, my friend.
What was the spread again?
8-point favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with Patrick. I think they win this game. I think the defense is strong. They have been strong all year.
Oh man, that
Uh,
defense is so good, though. I'll say
How many
that.
sacks? How many times do they sack the rookie
Not
QB?
not to sound like a homer, but my God, is that defense good?
It's very
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm going Browns.
isn't Jim Schwartz your defensive coordinator?
He is.
Yes.
What a
He
wizard!
is.
What a wizard
Man,
Jim Schwartz is.
here's the thing, though. It's a good and a bad thing, right? Because Jim Schwartz is just showing that he can be a head coach again. They're probably going to offer him a head coaching job, and that's the bad part.
Listen, remind Jim Schwartz of his time with the Detroit Lions.
Oh God, was
Just
that
remind
a
him.
bad
Just
time?
just remind him when he was Detroit Lions head coach. He might want to stay a defensive coordinator.
He
I
should.
think
Some
Jim-
people are look what happened with McDaniels.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say Jim Schwartz to me is like a Wade Phillips, a Norv Turner,
Yes.
yeah, a Josh McDaniels, like someone who is a great coordinator but has no business being a head coach. And I don't mean that as a
100%.
disrespect. I
No,
don't.
no,
add
no,
that-
no, no. You're right. You're right.
disrespect to Jim Schwartz,
There's just
but
there's a difference between being a coordinator because you only concentrate on that section of the ball, right?
Yep,
Than having being able to be in charge of the whole full team. It's yeah.
Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, stick to being coordinators because you are, and don't be offensive coordinators, by the way, defensive coordinators.
Oh God, that's a
yeah.
disaster. Let's not even
Yeah,
talk about
disaster.
that. All right,
All right.
boys. All right, Vikings 4-4, Falcons 4-4. Vikings travel to Atlanta this week. Atlanta is a 4-point favorite on this one. Josh Dobbs is going to be, going to be there. He's their new
He's not
QB.
going to play though, is he?
No, I don't
he's
think
gonna
he.
play.
No,
But
I got the
what
Falcons
choice do
on
they
this
have?
one.
Are they playing the rookie QB? I mean, is
Yeah.
that who you
Yeah.
throw? Is that who you're going to throw in?
Yep.
You have to start him because he's been there. He's the only one that really
Yeah.
knows the system.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
the only
we're
one.
picking up enough in 3 days.
Yeah, and he just got traded. Exactly. He just got traded on Tuesday.
So
So
basically,
it's,
Yeah.
by virtue of being the only one that's opened the playbook, he plays.
yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
that's
Falcons all around, right?
Falcons. Bijan has a field day.
I hope so.
Falcons
Got him in
win.
fantasy.
There you go. All right, boys. Another 1:00 game. The Los Angeles Rams, 3-5, going against the 2-5 Packers. Packers are actually a 3-point favorite in this one, which is hard to believe. Seeing that the Packers are not really that good.
They don't love
What do you guys
Jordan,
think?
that's for sure.
Well, it's not completely East Coast, but the West Coast team's playing a 1:00 quote East Coast game. I'm going Packers. I don't think the Rams are going to go to Green Bay and win this one.
Listen, the Rams made me look like an idiot last week, so I picked them to do an upset. And boy, did I look like I looked like a fool, and I'll be the first one to admit it. All the rest of you picked the Cowboys. I looked like a straight fool. So
we tried to tell you, but then again, we all looked like fools with all of the other games. Like I don't know. You guys picked Seattle. I picked Cleveland. That didn't end so well either.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've got comfortably the worst record in these NFL pick'ems so far. I think I've comfortably been the worst. So I'm not going Rams. I think that the Packers find a way to win this one.
Okay, so we all agreed that it is Packers.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here comes another dandy of a game. The Washington Commanders at 3-5 going against the 2-6 Patriots. Patriots right now, the line is -3, so they're favorite right now on this one.
Do the Commanders have any pass rushers left? Because any pass rushers they had, they traded.
If this was the game for Mac Jones to go off, right? Like this is the game, right? This is the game for him to. There's no defense left.
Yeah, and I was going to say, by virtue of the fact that the Washington Commanders not only did they trade their two best pass rushers, they really traded any pass rushers they have, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They've kind of cashed in on the season. So and Mac Jones has proven, even though he's not had a good season at all, he's proven in certain games, like against the Bills, that he still has that game in him. So I think that the Patriots win.
Okay. Donnie, what you got?
Gosh, I thought the Giants was going to be a horrible game, but I don't know. I think I kind of am with Patrick. I think the Patriots have won 2 games that I didn't even think they should have won. I think they'll win this game just because it's at home. Commanders are kind of a wreck right now. I think that coaching staff's going to be gone, and I think I think Bieniemy hurt himself leaving Kansas City going to Washington. I mean, there was all hope that he was going to go there, prove himself outside of Mahomes and all that, and he's done good with Sam Howell a little bit, but he's a guy that just probably isn't meant to be a head coach, and that's probably why he's not one, rather than any other issues that it might have been. So yeah, Patriots are going to win this game, but I just did the math, and I don't know if you guys have looked at this. Do you realize there's only 10 teams with a above 500 record in the NFL, and the
It's
Jets are
bad.
one of them? And the Jets are one of them.
Oh, don't get me
mean,
started on this team.
I just was looking down the schedule here. I mean, there's
Zach
literally
Wilson for
only 10
MVP.
teams over 500.
Patrick, you're about to get kicked off the show by saying things like that again. Don't ever do something like that, okay? Calm down.
I'm
There
so,
are so
sorry.
many
I'm so
games.
sorry.
There's so
Mr. Dad
many
Hat.
games this weekend between teams with 1-3 wins, 2-3 wins, 2-4 wins. I mean, it is horrible.
It is
It is.
bad.
It
I mean,
is.
before we continue on, but I mean, look at that. It's like, all right, so you got the Browns, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, right? With a winning record. Then you have keep going down.
Ravens, Seahawks,
Seahawks, Ravens. Yep. Oh my God, this is
and then
bad.
you've got let's
Cowboys,
see,
Eagles, Bills,
Yep.
Bengals,
and Jets.
and Jets.
I mean, who would have thought the Jets without Aaron Rodgers would be one of 10 teams with above 500 record at the midway point? And we'll
This
get
is
to that
bad.
game. We're not going to jump to that game. That's a Monday night game. But
They have their
could stay
defense to
above
thank.
500.
Yeah. So, okay. So I got the Patriots as well. And the Patriots, this is their opportunity. I do feel bad for Eric Bieniemy that he does go there. He has done some good things. He has been able to do it. He just doesn't have the weapons that Kansas City has. He doesn't have Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, that guy is going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. So I think there is going to be some house cleaning going to be done with that team. I think Rivera is going to be losing his job. Then maybe Eric Bieniemy becomes the interim head coach, and then we'll see what happens after that. But you guys are right. Patriots are going to win this one.
Well,
I mean,
poor
if I'm
Sam.
the new owner, I'm sorry. If I'm the new owner and I'm going to move on from Rivera, I do it now and see what Bieniemy can do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You bought this team, and I think
Oh, and
with
Magic
what-
Johnson has been vocal.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got to see if Bieniemy is head coach material. I mean, you only have 8 games to do it, 9 games to do it. You better do it now, or you're just planning to clean house anyway.
Yeah. I think they're going to anyway. So,
Yeah.
all right, boys.
Yeah.
So, the Bears 2-6 going against the Saints 4-4. New Orleans is an 8.5 favorite on this one. Oh God, this is a bad game. I don't even know if Justin Fields is even starting. Mike's one of Mike's favorite players right there, favorite quarterbacks. Derek Carr is going to be starting. Alvin Kamara, so I'll start it off on this one. I think the Saints do take this one, and I think it's going to be an easy game on this one for the Saints.
I agree. The Saints are at home. They're tough in the dome.
Yeah.
No matter how bad they are. So I think the Saints win this. And I don't think the Bears have anything to really hang their hat on right now.
No, not right now. No.
No, and I think the Bears culture, like, it suffered yet another ding this week with the running backs coach being fired. It's like the second coach they've had to let go of mid-season this season. And so no matter what Matt Eberflus says about the culture being excellent there, I disagree based on what we're seeing. So but even without that, I think that the Saints win this one easily.
I have a quick question on this game and the game that we just talked about, the Commanders. Which head coach gets fired first, Rivera or Eberflus?
Good question.
Probably Rivera. I mean, well, if it was me, it would be Rivera. I mean, Eberflus, they don't have anybody on the staff to look at probably. He's probably just going to limp through this season and be gone. I mean, the only reason that Rivera would go earlier is if they wanted to look at Bieniemy.
Yeah, and I think with Chicago, what the GM and the ownership are looking at is like, hey, listen, let him screw this up. We're going to get 2 number 1 picks. number 1 and number 2 in the NFL draft. So let them screw it up, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they've got Harbaugh in their back pocket, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. There you go.
I mean,
all right, boys.
I mean, Ryan moves at his own pace, right?
Yeah. So.
Well, they also could be looking at the thing that the national media has talked about, is they could also be looking at the well, maybe not so much now because USC is not doing it, but they were talking about Lincoln Riley following Caleb Williams to the NFL.
Oh, Jesus, please, no.
Caleb Williams. But I think both of them have shot themselves in the foot with the way USC's
has been playing. College, they've been playing so horrendous. Bad. Oh my God, they've been so bad. They lost what is it 3 straight now? For them. So, and it has not been good for Lincoln Riley. And if he jumps ship again, oh my God, that's not a good look on him.
So are they both going to like co-own a team since
yeah,
Caleb
since they want, Caleb wants ownership in the team
too. So
exactly.
which team are they buying? So
one of the AFL or USFL that are merging. Okay, boys, this is an interesting one. I got the one. There's 2 more 1 o'clock games, but the 1 o'clock game that I'm talking right now is Seattle Seahawks traveling to Baltimore, playing the Ravens. Baltimore right now is only a 6-point favorite on this one. This is a really intriguing game because Seahawks gave the number 1 defense, Cleveland, all they could handle, and I mean they won it with a minute and a half left. So I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle pulls this one too.
And I kind of agree with you on that because despite the fact that the Ravens have played really well in recent weeks and Lamar Jackson has played better in the last, say, 2 weeks, he still has had flashes this season where he's not been impressive. And I feel like the Ravens are a Jekyll and Hyde team so far. They've shown a little bit more consistency recently, but this seems like a perfect recipe when things are going well, just like it was for the Lions. They ran into the Ravens and got absolutely steamrolled. I could see the Seahawks coming in defying expectations and winning. So I'm going to take the Seahawks.
Yeah, and that I am too. I think this goes against my earlier stance on a West Coast team playing East Coast at 1 o'clock. But I think the Seahawks are going to – I think this is going to be the exception to that. The Seahawks, I think they're going to go into Baltimore and win this one. And I think it's going to be a close game.
So do I. I don't think it goes over 8.
No. It's going to be like a 3-4 point win.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I even got it lower than that. I think it's either by an extra point or a field goal.
I think it's a Geno special as time expires.
Oh.
No, okay.
Hey, listen, if they do that, I'm okay with that. As long as Cleveland handles their business and Tennessee handles theirs, Cleveland could be looking themselves pretty at the end of the day. So,
man, it must be nice. It must be nice having faith that your team has a shot at a division title.
Oh, I was no. This is no.
All
the things can align perfectly for Cleveland, and then they'll still find a way to screw this up. So don't you worry, my friend.
Well, listen, even
Cleveland will be Cleveland.
Even in the poor AFC South, I have no hope. I mean, the Colts are currently mired in last in the AFC South. It's truly back to what I expected.
So. All right, last 1 o'clock game, guys. Buccaneers 3-4 traveling to the Texans, also at 3-4. The line on this one is Houston is favorite by 3. What do you guys think?
Oh, that's an intriguing matchup.
I'm gonna go with Houston. I'm gonna go with Houston. I think that they've been very spunky. I still don't believe in Baker Mayfield and what he's trying to do. I hope he succeeds. I hope he he gets a full-time starting gig somewhere. I just think the Texans are just a better team. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Texans are going to win this. I mean, they should have beat the Panthers.
They should have, yes.
But the Buccaneers have just kept finding a way to lose. They just last week. I mean, they were trying to come back. They just don't have enough to come back. I think Texans win this one at home.
Even though the Texans made me look like a fool last week, but you know what? They gave Donnie Wise a win, so I can forgive them. So I think D'Amico Ryans really has done a good job with this Texans team so far.
Yes.
And I've never, ever forgiven Baker Mayfield for 2 things. 1, doing too many progressive commercials. 2, for disrespecting my man Ed Rivera's Cleveland Browns, and thereby disrespecting Ed Rivera.
He still thinks that
never forgiven him for
he's
that.
baffled at the fact that doesn't know why he got let go from Cleveland.
Because he did too many progressive commercials.
The only progressive commercial that they didn't do that they should have done was one of him with all of his stuff leaving Cleveland Stadium and rolling up in front of Bank of America Stadium. They really should have done that when he went to the Panthers.
That would have been so
That would have been
good.
the best progressive commercial, and they didn't do it.
Progressive was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Let's move on to the 4:00 slate games here. The earliest game to start is Patrick, your Colts traveling to Donnie's Panthers. Here we go, boys. It's fun because the Colts are 3-5, Panthers are 1-6, and then on top of that, the Indy Colts are only favored by 2.5 points. Not even a full field goal, boys. So this is, and here's a crazy thing, crazy stat to talk about. The over/under is 43 points, 43.5.
I think I'd take the under.
Yeah, so would I.
I'd take easily the under on that.
I'm going to jump in. I'm going to take the Panthers. I think they're going to get their second win, and I think this is going to be like a 13-9 kind of score or something weird.
It's going to be an ugly game.
It's going to be an ugly game.
I like it. I like those kind of games, like the Giants and Jets last week. Was just an absolutely atrocious game. Yeah, this is going to be that kind of game.
Yep.
Oh, 100%. I think this is a dangerous game for the Colts. This is the exact type of game that the Colts would go in and lose. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, this kind of reminds me of that game that when the Jaguars went like 2-14, and like one of their wins the entire season was against the Colts, and I think they ended with the tie. I think they were like 2-13-1. And it's like, it was something along those lines. And it's like the tie and the win were against the Colts. So this is the exact kind of game that the Colts, will find a way to lose it. And I think it's going to be ugly. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a 13-9 type affair, like Donnie said. And I owe Donnie one on this one, so I'm going to go Panthers.
I think it's a full sweep here, guys. I'm gonna go with Panthers on this one.
I'm a realist with my team. I love them. I hope I'm wrong. But,
I think that I think the Panthers are on their way to becoming a solid team. They're a couple of years away, right? But they're building a foundation, and I think Frank Wright is doing right there. Hopefully, he'll stay there one more year. We'll see how that goes. But
and the Colts are kind of in a holding pattern because you're not moving forward with Minshew in the future. I mean, you're waiting till the offseason with Richardson. So
so as soon as Richardson got injured and he was told that he was going to be done for the year, the Colts are like, all right, let's just try to lose some games so we can get a high draft pick.
Yep.
That's what it was.
At this point, I'd be okay with that.
All right, boys. Okay, here we go. Here comes another ugly game. There's been so many ugly games so far. New York Giants traveling to the Vegas Raiders, right? Giants 2-6, Raiders 3-5. We already know what happened with Vegas, right? McDaniels was fired, the GM was fired. And then on top of that, Garoppolo was benched. Okay. So they're starting their quarterback. Oh God, I forgot his name already. But even with all of that, Vegas is still favored by 2.
Oh, this is the kind of game they come out and like blow away the Giants some weird way. Like just, the Giants are a dumpster fire to begin with. And that's
100%.
Yeah.
Considering what you just said about the Raiders.
The Raiders.
There it is.
The Raiders.
Who's the interim coach now with the Raiders? I didn't even see. Did they say who it was? I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah, I forgot who it was, but
okay, it doesn't matter. I didn't know if you knew. I couldn't remember who they had appointed. I think this is a game where the players make a statement. Devontae Adams is going to rally the players because I think he got what he wanted, and I think they go big on the Giants.
I agree. I think
Antonio
that,
Pierce.
yeah, Antonio Pierce. That's right.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they show out, and the Giants are just bad all
Yeah. Oh
around.
my God, so
And
bad.
I don't care what's going on with the Raiders. I think they light up the Giants this week.
I still
What's the
say
over
they should have
under?
not giving Danny Boy that extension in New York. They shouldn't
Danny,
What's
have.
the over?
Danny Dimes.
Yeah, Danny Dimes. The over is 37.5.
Oh man,
Ooh.
I don't know if the Giants can cover enough of that to get over 37, but I
Yeah.
might take the over on that.
Yeah,
Surprisingly,
I was just
I
gonna
think the
say, I was like, I take
I
the
think the
over.
Raiders could put 33 up, and Giants might get 6. So I don't know.
I
Now,
got the over on that one.
no, I was gonna say I think that the Raiders could put up 37 and the Giants couldn't even put up the half. So
That's bad.
yeah, no. So the Raiders went all in on New England and lost. So because I believe Ziegler wasn't he a New England executive before he came to Vegas? I want to say that's where I want to. I think
Probably. I
he
don't
came
know.
as a package deal with McDaniels maybe a year earlier, but
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah, he's probably the reason McDaniels got brought in.
right.
And
So
shouldn't have happened. It should have never have happened. You
Yeah.
know, it was like I remember when he interviewed for the Cleveland Browns job, and so many people in Cleveland were like, "Oh, we want him, we want him, we want him." I'm like, "Oh no, don't do that."
I remember when he accepted the Colts job, and then the next day said, "Oh, I never mind. I changed my mind." One of the best days in Colts history when he changed his mind, and at least we got Frank Reich.
So there you go. All right,
Hey,
boys.
he took that move from Bill Belichick. He learned when Bill Belichick did it at the Jets. He's like, "Oh, I can do that." Okay,
Cool.
He just
All right,
did,
let's go.
he just didn't do it nearly as successfully.
It's true.
right.
All right, boys. A couple more games here. I got here Cowboys 5-2, Eagles 7-1, 425 game. Eagles are favored by 3 points on this one, and the over under on this one is 46.5.
Well, the 3-point favorite at home is basically a pick 'em because you always get 2.5 to 3 at home. So they're basically calling this a pick 'em game. I think that's high. Just even traditionally for this rivalry, I think that's a high over under.
I would go with the under on this one. I
I'd
wouldn't
go with
just
the under
because
as
of the
well.
same thing. Like
Yeah.
they're hated. They hate each other so much. That's going
Yeah.
to be, it's going to be a back and forth like defensive game.
This is going to be smash mouth football.
Yeah. Gosh, I really don't know.
I'm going to go with the Eagles. I'm going to go
are.
with the Eagles.
Yeah,
I'm going with
I
the
think I'm
Eagles.
going to go with the Eagles. I think I am too. I think just because they're at home, they find a way to win some of these games. They haven't really played a lot of good teams, and the Cowboys are actually good this year.
Yeah, but I still can't. I
I
don't
think they
believe in
win.
them.
Yeah, I don't either.
You're another Jekyll and Hyde
I think it's
team.
going to be a close game. I think it's going to be. I think the 3-point spread indicates it's going to be a close game anyway. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's the Eagles and probably 3 or less to win it.
All right. 2 more games here, boys. Then we got the Sunday night game. Okay, we got the 5-3 Bills traveling to Cincinnati, 4-3. Cincinnati is favored by 2 points, and get this: this is the highest over under on this Sunday, guys. 49.5.
Ooh.
I mean, they sling it. Joe and Josh might be. They
I
might
was
be.
just gonna
They
say
might be trading.
I was going to say I'm taking the over on that.
if this is the game, this would be the game that will go over 50 points, combined because of Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. I think this
Oh
will
yeah,
be that game.
this
Yeah.
could be like a
And-
high 30s, low 40s kind of game for each team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
And Joe Burrow finally looked healthy after that injury that he suffered. I mean, it's like the first time all season.
I'm glad that he was injured during the Cleveland game, so I'm just want to put that out there. Even though he did play pretty bad against Cleveland at
Yeah.
healthy, so
But that Burrow Chase connection has looked really good in recent weeks. So
it's looking better and better every day.
I was going to say after like a little bit of a disconnect in the first few weeks of the season, similar to like Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, And now that connection, that understanding seems to be back, and that's dangerous for a lot of teams. So I'm taking the Bengals.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm taking the Bengals as well. The Bills defense has not really shown me much.
No. And
So
the
we'll
Bills
see.
are another Jack. I hate to keep using the same term, but the Bills are Jekyll and Hyde as well. Look fantastic one week, and then the next week you're like, what team is this? I mean, they're inconsistent.
I mean,
instead of saying Jekyll and Hyde, they're inconsistent.
Isn't this the same team that lost to the Jets on the first game of the season?
The one that lost to a team where Zach Wilson played all but 4 snaps.
Yeah, and they just struggled a few weeks ago against the Giants.
They lost to the Jaguars. They won against the Giants, but it was not by much. It was 14-9.
Right. They struggled in the game against the Giants as bad as they are.
They also struggled
against
New England.
Yeah.
Well, they lost against New England 29-25.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Mac Jones with no talent played really well.
Yeah, exactly. I think Joe Burrow is I think he's healthy and he's back, and I think he's
due for a big game.
Yeah, it's prime time. I think we're gonna get some prime time Burrow. As much as I disliked him as a LSU Tiger, but anyway,
you can consider him an Ohio State player, and then he'll be all right.
He was bad on both accounts.
Yes, he was.
He left one team and went to another, and they both were like the wrong one team to play for.
100%, exactly. Hey,
Donnie,
all right, boys.
Donnie, you forgot the dagger on the other side of my back.
All right, boys. Last game, and then we're gonna get out of here because we've already been talking for about an hour and a half on a 1-hour show here, boys. It's fun when you're having fun, right?
It is fun, yeah.
But we have the Monday night game, 8:15. Chargers 3-4, Jets 4-3. You were just talking about that, Donnie. The Chargers are actually favored in this one at 3.5. Okay, the over/under is 40.5 on this one. Guys, I don't believe in the Jets. I think the Jets have gotten very lucky in a lot of those wins. I think the Chargers get this one.
I mean,
conversely, I don't believe in Brandon Staley.
I'm going Jets. I think they're at home Monday night. I think they're going to win this game.
All right,
they're going to win this game.
You guys can pick them.
I don't know if it's going to be a good game. It's going to probably be an ugly game, but I think they're going to win it.
Listen, it's not for me so much that the Jets find a way to win this game. For me, it's the fact it's that Brandon Staley is going to find a way to lose this game for the Chargers.
You're right. You're right about that.
Yeah. So because I was going to say the Chargers, they do not do well in close games, and this is going to be a close game.
Ooh, Donnie, you're getting yelled at right now.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Talking about Burrow like that in LSU. How dare you, Donnie?
Rhonda's the real MVP.
There it is.
She is.
Rhonda is the real MVP. So, So I think that I'm gonna agree with the celebrity VIB. Very important Firefly. Very important insert team here, and I'm gonna go Jets. Jets.
Okay, all right, go for it. I'm going to stick with my
way to stay above 500. So. Yeah,
and maybe Chargers fans will secretly not mind that because then if it means Brandon Staley's fired, they can get a coach that they actually want.
I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with my Chargers pick on this one. So I think the Chargers pull it off, and it's not going to be like one of those high scoring games. I don't think it's going to go over 40, but I think that Chargers do pull it off at the end, the last play of the game kind of situation. So just want to put that out there.
Keeps his job another week.
Oh yeah, 100%. He'll get fired at the end of the season. We'll wait until the end of the season for that one. So, gentlemen, it's been a lot of fun as always. These games are going to be interesting. There's a lot of bad games. A lot of teams are under 500. So we'll see how our picks go next week. Thank you for joining me next week. We'll see you again. Both of you next week again. But guys, make sure you follow Patrick MLB Head History. He is on Instagram, on Twitter. Make sure you follow him. Same with Donnie. He is on Instagram and Twitter. So make sure you guys Wise D Jr. Okay, that's his Twitter handle on the socials. Follow me, Dad Chronicles. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Threads. I'm on all of them, guys. So make sure you follow him. Give this a like, share it with your friends, and then we will see you guys on Tuesday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. See ya.
Bye.
We're gonna take on the world.